Hi, welcome. We are doing 5-6 today, which is page 189. Now, I know a lot of Unit 5 has been a little bit of a headache. The points of concurrency, the altitudes, perpendicular bisectors, angle bisectors, this last one, medians, creating those points of concurrency are kind of tricky and a little confusing. Today's lesson, I feel, is something that definitely carries through the rest of geometry and is pretty nice, and it's a good solid set of notes today. So try your best to forget, don't completely forget, but kind of let's move on from, don't be stressed out if you were struggling with the first part of Unit 5. There were a lot of tricky parts, but this part I think is kind of nice, so refocus, and let's see if we can do this one. So triangle inequality is a triangle. Show that for you a little bit. A triangle exists if the sum of the smaller two sides is larger than the third side. Okay, so what we generally know, we know Pythagorean theorem, and knowing Pythagorean theorem tells us the two sides that are the smaller sides and the larger sides. There's always, unless it's an equilateral triangle, there's always a larger side to that triangle. The largest side is always considered your C. So this is when you have your two legs that are like A plus B, and it has to be larger. So it's the sum, and it's larger than the third side. The third side is always your C, the longest side. So remember, this right over here is your largest or longest leg. So we kind of some examples right here. Let's say we had a side that was 10 units long. And over here we have a side that's 3 units. And over here we have a side that's 4 units. Is that 3 and 4 ever going to be long enough to meet and make a triangle? Because 3 and 4 is only 7. They're going to fall straight down here. And they're going to go flat against that 10. They are not going to be able to make a triangle because 3 plus 4 is not greater than 10. So what if I have a side that's 5? And let's say this side over here is 2, and this side over here is 3. They're going to come out here and they're going to meet, but they're going to fall flat. They're not going to make a triangle. So 2 plus 3 is not greater than 5 either, so that's not going to work. Now what if I have a side that's 5, I have a side over here that's 3, and a side over here that's 4. Well, 3 plus 4 is 7. That's greater than 5. They're going to meet and not be able to fall completely flat. They will make a triangle. So knowing that, remember, you always want the largest side over here. So 24 is the largest side. I'm going to do 8 plus 17 has to be greater than 24. 8 plus, it's 17, not 7. Sorry, 8 plus 17 is 25. 25 is greater than 24, so yes, over here we have a triangle. Largest side is 7. 3 plus 3, greater than 7. We'll know 6 is not greater than 7, so no, this one over here does not work. And that's what you're going to do. Now remember, this one, 12 isn't the largest side, 35 is. So I want 12 plus 25 to be greater than 35. Well, I get 37 is greater than 35. So over here, yes, I do have a triangle. Here I'm going to do 20, again 50 is the largest one, so 28 plus 22 has to be greater than 50. Well, that's exactly 50. So 50 is not greater than 50. This one, no, is not a triangle. The largest side here is 24. I get 11 plus 12 greater than 24. Here I have 23. Again, this is not greater than 24, so no, I don't have a triangle. I'm going to go ahead and pause, do those other three on the other side. If you completed these over here, in each case, again, 52 is the largest side, 18 is the largest side, 41 is the largest side. They all were greater than the largest side, so yes, they were all triangles. Okay, now down here we want to find a third side in a range. Like, so I don't know necessarily, I want to find the third side. Here are the two numbers that I do know. I have to remember, though, I immediately assume that the third side that I'm looking for is the largest side, which means 14 plus 22 is going to be 36, and 36 would have to be the largest side, right? So this is, it would have to be larger than 36, or sorry, less than 36, because that would be the largest side. You want it less than that number. But 22 could be the largest side. So if 22 is the largest side, I would have something like 14 plus a equals 22. Well, if this is the case, when we subtract 14, I get a equals 8. That means that the missing side has to be between 36 and 8. So what happens over here, we want to find a range. We want x to be in the middle. Okay, so I want to figure out what my minimum number is and what my maximum number is. So to find the minimum over here, we're going to do the difference of the two numbers. And to find the maximum, we're going to do the sum of the two numbers. So we want the range. So again, over here, since it was 14 plus 22 over here, it's 22 minus 14 over here. So again, every time I do this, instead of doing different work, I'm going to set up a range with x in the middle. I'm going to add my numbers over here on the left. I'm going to subtract my numbers over here on the right. So I'm going to do 11 plus 3, and I get 14. I'm going to do 11 minus 3, and I get 8. My number has to be between 8 and 14. Now, the number can't be 14, and it can't be 8. It has to be between it, so it has to be smaller than 14 or larger than 8. Same thing on the rest of these here. I'm going to go ahead and pause. You do yours on your own, and then come back and check. For my answers, go ahead and check through those and confirm that you did those correctly. Same thing is happening here with 15 and 16. I have a triangle that has lengths of 15 and 27. So if I want to find the third side, I'm going to add them over here. Check all possible lengths for that third side, which means I would want to subtract them over here. I end up with a range of 12 to 42. So which of these is going to work? Which one is between 12 and 42? Well, 34 is. 12 is not. 12 is equal to 12, so you're not going to mark 12. 29 is between it. 18 is between it. And 43 is too large. So those are my three answers. Again, over here, triangle has lengths of 45 and 9. So in 45 minus 9, I can have a length of 36. Or, no, over here I add, sorry. 45 plus 9, and we get a length of 54. Or I can do over here 45 minus 9, which gives me a length of 36. So 35 is too small. 58 is too large. Excuse me. 47 is between. 54 is exact, so that's not going to work. And then 39 is going to be between, so 39. There are our answers. Okay, I'm going to pause and go to the next page. I'll be right back. Okay, so our next page for 5-6, I really like this side too because I think it's intuitive. It's something you can kind of really see when you look at the triangles. The angles of a triangle can be put in order by comparing the sides. The smallest angle is always opposite of the shortest side. And the largest angle is always opposite of the longest side. Order the angles from least to greatest, so we want to put them in order. And I'm going to make the smallest one pink, and I'm going to make the largest one orange, and then the one in the middle will go ahead and do green. So whatever the largest side, or the smallest side, we'll start with the smallest one. Here my smallest one is 7. Opposite of the 7 is my A. So over here I'm going to have angle A. My medium side is going to be 10. And opposite, remember it's opposite. Opposite is going to be C over here. So we're going to put angle C. And then the largest side is 13. Opposite of the 13 is my B. So we're going to go ahead and put angle B. There we go. Same thing pretty much happens over here with ordering the sides. The shortest side is always across the smallest angle. The longest side is always opposite the largest angle. So again, I'm going to do pink for the smallest one. Now they only gave me 2 angles. They only gave me 2 angles. Again, all angles of a triangle always add up to 180. So I can go ahead and add those together. 103 and 42. 145, I'm going to do 180 minus 145. I end up with 35 degrees. My missing angle here is 35 degrees. So now that is my smallest angle. Opposite of that is this side over here. So my smallest side is going to be side DE. Now I want my middle one. The middle one is going to be 42. Opposite of the 42 is here, and it's going to be DF. Okay, now the very last one is going to be my longest side, or my largest angle. 103, opposite of that is over here, it's EF. Okay, you do not have to use the highlighters every time. I just want to make sure I use them in the example so you can see them. Go ahead, we are going to do the odds. I'll go ahead and do the odds here. So if you want to pause and do them on your own, you can. I want to set the angles from least to greatest. Make sure you pay attention to the directions. So the smallest one, 17, would be angle M. My medium one is 20, would be angle P. And my largest one is 24, would be angle N. Now the next one we're going to do is order of angles from greatest to least. So I'm going to start with the biggest one, which is 11, opposite of angle C. 9, opposite of angle B, is middle. And then 8 is opposite of D, which would be my smallest. So make sure you pay attention to the directions. Over here, I want to order the sides from least to greatest. Well, again, I have to add those together, subtract from 180. 88, I end up with 92 degrees. So my smallest one is 31. Across from 31 will be line segment KL. 57, across from that will be line segment JK. And then my largest one, 92, is across from here, JL. There we go. Okay, my last one, again, add those together, subtract from 180. I get a missing angle of 44 degrees. My greatest angle is 82, which would make it XZ, my line segment. My medium angle is X, which makes YZ my line segment. My smallest one is Z, making XY my line segment. Okay, I'm not going to do the evens there, but if you want to, you can come back to office hours. I'm going to go to the next page. Okay, so back here we have hinge theorem. Hinge theorem tells us that if we have triangles where we have 2 sides that are the same, These two sides are equal, those two sides are equal. That's not enough to say that the triangles are equal. Remember, you need three things: side, 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 angle, side, angle, angle, side, or HL. So you need three things for any of those. Here I just have two. Now the hinge theorem says, well, what if angle A is greater than angle D? Well, if A is going to be bigger than D, that means that BC, the side across from it, is going to be greater than EF. So greater means, like, let's say this one over here is 60 degrees and this one over here is 50 degrees. That's bigger. So it's going to give you a bigger side from across the way. Now, the converse also works if you do it in the reverse order. Let's say we know that the sides, if we know that BC is greater than EF, so let's say BC out here is 12 and EF out here is 10. And the two sides are the same, but that third side is not. Then I know that angle A over here, making the larger side, is going to be larger than angle D over here, making the smaller side. So you can go through here and just decide if you think that it's greater or less than. So here I'm looking at KL here. Well, this is 79. PM here, this is 74. The other two sides are the same. So this side over here, KL, is going to be greater. Okay, so I want you to go through these and see if you can figure them out. I'm going to pause the screen and then you come back and check in a minute. Okay, so here are my answers for the hinge theorem on page 191 if you want to check over them. If there are any that you want to discuss, please come to office hours and we can do that. Otherwise, have a fabulous day. Get caught up with all your work and assignments. And we'll see you in class.